And you're on the Better at Beach Volleyball podcast. We're also going live on Instagram just in case you guys want to chat. So we're doing a little combination episode today. Since it's the Olympics, we've got a lot of updates mainly. We'll talk about the USA teams because that's really all I've heard about so far. And I did want to chat about a few other things. So if you're hanging out on Instagram, go ahead and chuck in any comments you want and we'll respond to them. But if you're listening on the podcast, uh, just listen. And if you guys want to ask some questions, you guys can tune in to any time we go live on YouTube or on Instagram. Now, I do want to mention just before we get started, if you're in Austin, Texas, guys, we're coming out. Even if you're in San Antonio or Dallas, come on out because August 7th to 9th, today is Monday, August 5th. So August 9th to 11th, we have a 3-day camp at our new facility, ATX Beach. I hesitate to call it our new facility. I'm an investor. So if you guys have any questions about how that went down, I was one of the investors in ATX Beach, Austin. So part owner there and love seeing a huge facility going in Austin. I know they've needed a place where everybody can really congregate, get together, run big adult leagues. So if you're in Texas or if you're driving through, please head to ATX Beach. We're also going to be running 3 to 4 events there per year. So get ready for a few releases. But this time around, August 9th to 11th, we have a 3-day camp. If you want to get a day pass, you're more than welcome. Me and Brandon will be there. We will be the head coaches, and you'll get to celebrate our early birthday because August 12th is me and Brandon's birthday. Believe it or not, we have the same birthday. So we're going to be there, and then we will be at the AVP Manhattan Beach. I'm working with a couple of teams. I'm helping out DJ because he's my guy. And I'm also going to be in Logan and Hagen's box again. Hopefully we can do a little bit better than last year's Manhattan Beach where we took a third. So looking to improve on that. And I will say that witnessing Logan's growth as a player, as a person, and seeing how their team is connecting, also with Hagen, who's really stepping up and learning more and more about his game, they're getting more dangerous. Logan's becoming an absolute unit, which is pretty fun to see. His on-2 game is getting to the point where it's unstoppable. We did a lot of work the other day, just working on really, really fine, minute details. Something as simple as how many steps can you or should you take if you get locked up into a short ball? If somebody serves you short, how many steps can you take? Should you take? In what direction are they going? We unlocked a couple of keys during a nice 90-minute practice, and we did it with one coach and 2 players. I was the coach, and we had Uckelberg out there, who is Logan's roommate and also another open player, and we just problem solved. You know, one thing I'll say to you guys is if you have never gone to a court with only 3 people, you are missing out on a ton of reps and chances to really, really solve problems and fix things. So I'll say this again. Go to a court. Next time you practice or next time you play, do not allow yourself to bring 4 players. It always just degrades into a situation where you say, okay, that's enough, let's play. If you only bring 3 or you bring 2 and a coach, you don't have the opportunity to just play. So it turns into more reps, more problem solving. And one of the things that we were going over that I guess everybody can pick up on is the speed of a high line. If you're playing against blockers, the speed of your high line, when you hit it. In other words, are you on your way up? Are you on your way down? Are you hitting at the top? And if you're just seeing the spot and then knowing that the location can get there, like knowing that the location will just win the point because you made the right decision, or are you beating the defender to that spot? It's a mistake a lot of people make, I think, where they will jump, and if they have a blocker, they'll see an open spot and they'll go, okay, line's open. I'm just going to hit that. Instead of this, it's got to be like Indiana Jones style, where you're going and running and sliding through a closing dungeon door. There is a time window, and you have to hit it now. If you're into American football or the NFL, like, holes close. So you have to get there quick. When we talk about a cut shot or a high line, these are aggressive swings. I hate that they're called like shots or even slow balls. You should not be arcing these. And when we're talking about a player of Logan's caliber, Theo Brunner is one of the people that I look at and I go, that should be everybody's high line. Same thing with Ryan Darty. Now, these guys are monsters. Everybody we're talking about is 6'8" and above. But that doesn't mean that you can't execute with the same mentality that they can, right? When you need to hit a high line, you need to see that it's open. You need to make that decision. And here is something that we talked about with Alex Uckelberg, where he was on our court, and we're talking about Logan, who has been to semifinals and has won some of the AVPs and is yet to win one of the big ones on the big stage, but he's also got, FIVB medals. And I said, you can't just jump, wait in the air, and then make your decision. By the time you've taken off from the ground, your decision has to be made, and you need to execute. If you're jumping, if you're hanging in the air, and you don't know what you're trying to hit, chances are you're going to be hitting on your way down, which means you're going to be a little bit lower. You are going to have a slower arm swing, which means you're going to be more predictable. And teams are just going to scoop you, right? This won't happen at an open tournament. This is going to happen at one of the higher level tournaments or a qualifier, or when you finally face a disciplined defender. That's the difference. Somebody who's not only disciplined, but is fast. Like when we get to play against real athletes and people with real volleyball experience. You have to make that decision as you're coming off the ground and then deliver it quickly. So here's an easy way to solve this, okay? To know if you're doing it or not. When you look at your video, and if you're not videoing your own games or practices by now, get with the program. It's going to help you accelerate your game faster, okay? When you're looking at your video, take a look and pause it and go in super slow motion. So you can use the space bar to pause and play, pause and play, pause and play. But look at the level of your head as it compares to the net. And you can see millimeter by millimeter if you contact the ball while you're still on your way up, if you contact the ball at exactly the top of your jump, or if your head starts falling down in relation to that net by the time you actually make contact. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be going on your way up or at the top of your jump for every swing. There's a bunch of different attacks, a ton of different attacks. You can hit on your way up, you can delay, you can mess with the blocker, you can lean back and show shot and then hit under him. There's a lot of different ways to play with your timing. But if you've never played with the timing of your hit, if you've only aimed at, I need to hit at the top of my jump, and you've never aimed at, I'm going to hit the ball definitely on my way up, I'm going to hit the ball definitely on my way down, then you can't say that you have true control over your attack timing. Because we need to know what it's like at one end of the spectrum and at the other end of the spectrum, contrast training, bringing those two ends together and experiencing what they're both like in order to understand what the middle is like, right? You have to, I don't know, you have to see dark in order to know what light is. You have to see light in order to know what dark is, right? If you're only in the dark all the time, or you're only aiming at dark, or you're only aiming at the top of your jump, then you're not really experiencing what it's like, and you don't know the difference between hitting on your way up, hitting on your way down, or exactly at your top. So there's a different situation. There's a different time for each one of those attacks. And when it came to back to Logan, who's now 6'9", and we said like he was seeing correct spots and then sort of placing the ball there, thinking that it was enough. Like, okay, once the decision is made, now my body relaxes and I just put the ball there. We worked on him going straight OT and slapping balls flat or down over a block. And when he does it, and when we see people do it, I saw James Shaw hit a couple of high lines. Recently, it was Hermosa, and oh, that kid's gonna be gross. He's gonna be so good. I mean, gonna be. He is really good. But when you see some of the high lines that he hits, it's like he's hitting an 80% spike, just higher, and so it falls in. And that's what we got to turn our cut shots and our highlights into. So Logan's getting that now. He's understanding that. And then it's just exciting to see that progression in a player year over somebody who's absolutely addicted to the sport. Speaking of people who are addicted to the sport, if you're looking around this podcast, or if you are on our YouTube channel, or if you're just hanging out on Instagram, we've got a 15% discount for Wilson. So our code is betteratbeach-112. So if you enter that promo code into anything on Wilson, or you click on one of the links around this video, you'll get 15% off, and it helps us, helps support our channel and what we're doing. But we have a program called the Complete Player Program, and it is truly designed to be a full year of training. We have a passing course, a serving course, a setting course. We have a fixed arm swing course. We have a ticking course, offensive design and approach mechanics. We also have a full year of programmed workouts for you. But if you join that, you get to post any videos, just like we're talking about. You get to post any of the videos that you are playing in or that you want to, whether it be exercise technique or just something from practice or a scenario during a match, and you post that into our private community on our app. If you haven't downloaded our app and you have an iPhone, Google, Android, sorry, it's still not ready, but if you have an iPhone, go to Better at Beach Online. It's the Better at Beach Online app. Inside of it, you will get a free 10-day course. It comes with several workouts specifically for volleyball. It comes with a few lessons from each one of our big masterclass courses, and it's easy to digest. We also give you 1 or 2 drills every day that you should do in accordance with those skills. So if you want to check out that app and get back to me, let me know how you like it. We're really excited about it, and it'll introduce you to everything we do in a free way. So Better at Beach Online, the app. Go for it. When you're in our Complete Player Program, if you decide to go further than that, then like I said, you get to post your video analysis. And what we are just starting to do is offer one-off video analysis sessions. So you'll be able to buy a single video analysis with me, Brandon, Matt, or Logan. And you'll also be able to get a 3-pack or join our elite player program where we go intense and we have weekly meetings and we customize absolutely everything for you. We watch film with you every single week, and that has been really awesome for me. I've got 4 athletes on my roster right now. Any more than that, and it takes too much of my time and energy, but Brandon and Logan and Matt are on board, and we are creating those pages now. So if you do want a slot, if you want an AVP coach, AVP player, or elite coach who is leading you through your season, through your workouts, through your practices, and through every bit of your film work, you can sign up for that. Just make sure you get on our email list, which is around here. Now, should we talk a little bit about these Olympics? Okay, now that you guys are all filming everything, and now that you're all showing up to practice with 3 players, not 4. Okay, and you've downloaded the Better Beach Online app. How crazy that Nuss and Cloth got knocked out by Brandy and Mel. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be. if you're following Sandcast and Volleyball Magazine, which is like, I don't understand how Travis is creating this much content constantly. But if you see the way that he slams the pool play system, and I get it, the pool play is weird. It creates different seeding scenarios that just don't belong in the playoffs. Now, okay, so Taryn and Kristen were, I think, the number 2 team, and Brandy and Mel were the number 4 team in the world going into this. And then they've got to meet in the quarterfinals, like really early, round of 16, really early. That sucks. It's something that you want to see in the semis, that every AVP fan is hoping for. Like, this should be a medal match or earning your way to the gold medal. But hey, it happened. I'm sure everyone's disappointed that all 3 of those teams, all 3 of the AVP teams, couldn't go further into the tournament. And the fact that Cloth and Kristen are where they are is awesome. To be that young, that much of a future ahead of them, and still like number 2 and often number 1 in the world. Great job, ladies. Way to go this tournament. Way to rep the USA. Way to rep LSU. And we know you're going to come back and win a bunch of AVPs and win a bunch of golds anyway. So you'll get them next Olympics. For Brandy and Mel, kicking butt. Also, way to go. You guys are going to be winning for, I hope, years to come. I hope you guys are not anywhere close to on your way out, because it just seems like you guys get better every week. Now, Jane Hughes, kicking butt. We are still hoping that they're going to be in the gold medal match. And sadly, we had to say goodbye to Buttinger and Miles. I shot Miles a little text earlier this week. It's just so cool to see, your friends, your competitors, training partners who are doing it at that stage and being able to compete in the Olympics is just amazing. And Chase, who can be a 2-sport athlete and whatever else you want to throw at him, I'm sure he can handle it. So awesome job in the Olympics. They did lose to Norway. That went to the tape. We're hoping it wouldn't. But Norway is the number 2 in the world, I believe, right now, and Sweden's number 1. So we'll see what happens as that carries on. We still have Miles Partain and Andy Benish in the Olympics. So we've got 2 teams, and we just learned that the indoor men's just went to the semifinal. They beat Brazil, which is crazy. That's also another kind of stereotypical match you want to see, USA versus Brazil. So I've actually yet to watch these matches, but I am excited to see them. Mike Lessel is asking, USA versus Qatar. Who do you got versus Qatar? Sorry, everybody. So it's interesting that Miles and Andy dropped their coach mid-Olympics. I used to actually compete against Mike Playchek. He was working for them. Whatever happened on the inside of that camp, it seems like they're being cool and they're being professional about it. I'm sure something had to change, because they did occasionally look a little bit low energy. And I know it was hot out there, but they also had their motivation, and mojo has been kind of funky for the last year for those guys, and they're back on board and they're going for crazy options, lots of on 2 plays. The balls on Miles Partain to go on 2 on some of these sky passes is awesome. You're sitting there going, no, don't do it. And then, okay, some he hits into the net, some he hits out of bounds, but he's connecting on all of these. Just to be able to connect on a high ball like that in the sand, and all of the footwork that he's doing. If you guys pause and rewind some of those matches and you see the amount of adjustment footwork he has for his high balls and for his out of system balls, it's nuts. So do I think Miles and Andy are going to beat Qatar? Yeah, I think they're going to continue. Now, it's a different match. If you see the foot speed and and the ability to cover fast distance and the bounciness of Qatar. It's crazy. But Andy's a big monster presence. His hand shape is big. He's throwing his hands in all different directions. And when the ball hits him, that ball's running into a brick wall. So if they can pass well and they can get the ball a little bit closer to the net this round, maybe take a little bit of height off of it just so that it is easier to connect, I think they're going to take it down 21-18, 21-19. I really do. I think they're going to beat Qatar 2-0. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I am getting a couple questions on our Instagram Live. Somebody said, I spike with my right hand and I like to attack from the left side. How can I spike or make it easier to spike on the right side? Right side's easy. All you got to... Okay, so we talked about this. Let's take a little break from the Olympics. Sorry for that aside. But for volleyball players who are watching the Olympics currently and seeing a whole lot of spread offense, like they're seeing players set to the antenna, this is quite different than running pre-spike to the sideline or to that antenna. In order to set to the antenna, if you're a right-handed right side, often you actually have to approach from inside the court. It's almost an inside-out approach. I hesitate to call it that because everything with your body should be kind of north and south. It's just however you run to create space, and then you go north and south. So if you're a right side as a right-handed player, I'll just give you the number one common mistake that I see is people who are trained by somebody who knows indoor or who had years of playing left side or middle. Right sides commonly will get their left foot, left hip way out front, and then the ball kind of travels over from behind their shoulder. And they were taught this because everybody who's a left side or everybody who's a middle or was taught by some indoor coach somewhere or some indoor player, they said, oh, get your left foot out front. And that helped people be open to the setter. But the problem is you don't want to be open to the setter. This is something that coaches really screw up. You want to be open to the set. That doesn't mean you have to be facing where the ball is coming from. It just means that your hips, the front of your hips, the ball has to be in front of your hips. Like if you had a metal bar going through your hips sideways, so long as the set is in front of that, then you're open to the set, which means that you have power and you have vision. Now, it's really easy to do on the left side because it's really hard to close yourself off to the set unless you somehow face the antenna or face out of bounds. But if you're a right-handed right side and you've got that, I'll call it an indoor-y approach, even though it's not like I'll call it an amateur indoor approach. If you stab that left foot out front so that your left hip faces the net, and now the ball is traveling from behind your shoulder, you're going to be weakened. It's going to be a harder ball to hit. You will have less torque, and you can't approach to the ball. You can't run at the ball. You're actually then in a situation where you're waiting for the ball to come over your shoulder. So if you go back and watch Miles Evans, who is an Olympian now. Way to go, Miles. If you see him, as well as Sweden, the way they attack their right side balls and the way they attack their on-two balls, the ball stays in front of their hip line. And so you don't see their left foot come way out in front of their right. You see they almost kind of stop even. Sometimes they're parallel. Sometimes the left might be a little bit behind in relation to the net. It's still a right-left rhythm for the most part, unless you're goofy-footed, which on the beach, there's not too many problems with that. There's just advantages and disadvantages. And if you check out, just Google better at beach goofy foot, we've got a few videos on the advantages and disadvantages of being goofy footed. But so long as that left foot doesn't come out on the right side, it doesn't come far forward, you keep the ball in front of your chest and in front of your hips, then you have the opportunity to actually take yourself to the ball, broad jump to the ball, through the ball. Then you have more power and more options and more hitting and power lanes. So that, not running to the sideline, or even if you, or not, definitely not running outside the sideline, allowing the ball to go over your right shoulder without coming from behind you. And I know I just probably confused you there, but leave space between you and the sideline. That's key for right sides. Leave space between you and the sideline. And then when you jump, just make sure that the ball is always in front of your chest throughout your entire approach. Okay, it's very hard, but don't end up looking over your shoulder or allowing the ball to come from behind you. And that, my friends, is how, or one way, you can improve your spiking as a right side. And take a look at when you see those right sides in the Olympics right now, take a look at their feet when they take off in relation to the net and to the set. You will see that it looks very different from that typical, again, I'll say amateur coaching, amateur player, left side approach or indoor approach where people are getting their left foot way out front. Okay, it actually limits torque and it limits power production, but that's something you can learn more about in our Fix Your Arm Swing in 21 Days course, which is also in the links around this video. So, Mike, we answered your question about USA versus Qatar. And just looking for a little question here. Somebody said, what back and shoulder muscles does a player use when swinging? Honestly, we do use all of those muscles. The thing that you don't want to do is flex your arm. So if you're thinking that you want to generate more heat from an arm swing or just hit harder, first of all, don't try to hit harder if you can't get your 3/4 of your forearm. Is that fair? I'll say your elbow. If you can't get your elbow above the net when you're taking an approach jump, we shouldn't really be worrying about hitting with max velocity. Then it becomes about darting the ball and having placement. Okay, max velocity swings and like all of those mechanics, the ability to do that and go hard, that's reserved for people who are getting up. So you could either jump, you could work out, do some fast squats. We got a 60-day program for you around this video if you want. But if you're not jumping high enough to get your elbow above the net, worrying about a max velocity hit doesn't even make sense. So the way we structure our teaching and our programs is we always teach serve and pass first. Then we teach setting. And we mix ball control in there. Okay. Then we teach how to approach, how to design your approach, where to position yourself to make the most swings possible. Because if you're not even positioning yourself, and when we look at the videos from a lot of our B and A players, most of the hits we already know before the ball is set if it's going to be a good or a bad hit. Because we can see the timing that they're taking off, and we can see how big the setting window is or isn't. And if you don't put yourself in the right position as an attacker, well, you're not ready to hit the majority of spikes anyway. Okay, so fix your spacing, fix your offensive design, make sure that you're opening yourself up and you're making it very obvious to your setter where you want the ball, and that you're calling for sets that are actually on your hitting arm. So if I'm a left side and I hit with my right arm, if I'm not outside the court right now, I should not call outside for my set, because that would mean that I'm asking for a set that's getting to my non-dominant arm or my non-hitting arm, and that's going to ruin every bit of power and options that I have. So we call for sets and we call for zones that are on our hitting shoulder, and we try to maximize that space by our movement before the set. And then we make it really obvious with our body which direction we're going, which direction we want to set, so that our setter's eyes pick us up peripherally, and hopefully our call matches that. But great setters, they don't really listen to calls. To be honest, like, we don't need to speak the same language for us to play volleyball together. I just need to see where your body is, and I will feed your right arm, I'll feed your hitting arm in the direction that you're moving, and that's how setters operate. That's how elite setters operate. Hopefully your set call matches with what your body is showing, and we try to get our players to match up on that. But if they don't, it's up to the setter to really override whatever came out of the hitter's mouth and say that's not really what they meant. They just meant set their hitting arm in the direction that they're moving. Okay, so hope that helps. If you really want to target a boy VB for life, if you really want to target generating more speed and power from your attack, first fix your approach mechanics. Then make sure that your chest and your overhead mobility are quality enough. Make sure you loosen your arms so that you're not flexing your muscles. And just know that the majority of that power is going to come from looseness and repetitions. If you want to add some power production exercises like medicine ball launches, throwing them sideways for rotational velocity, or medicine ball overhead throws or slams, that can help you if you've got the right mobility. But if your feet, your positioning, your spacing aren't there, it won't matter what you do with your arm swing. You won't be able to hit a hard ball just because of the design of your offense and where the set is. So make sure you fix your approach before you work on an arm swing. Okay. Any other questions? Got a couple other questions, but if you guys want to ask some more questions and you want to join some conversation and talk about or ask rules questions, you could always head into Volleyball Tips, Volley Chat by Better at Beach Volleyball. It's our Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. We have FIVB and USA Volleyball and AVP referees in there who are answering rules questions. Most of the questions just get asked on repeat, which means that we're not doing a good enough job of posting the right answers to the right questions. So if you do have questions in there, go ahead and you can probably use the search bar in that Facebook group to look for any rules questions or disputes. And those referees that are in there are pro refs, they're World Tour refs, and they're nice enough to actually answer everybody's questions. So look for the group expert badges when you go to the Facebook group, Volleyball Tips, Volley Chat by Better at Beach Volleyball. And when you see the group experts, trust them. Don't argue back. Don't create a million scenarios where they might be wrong. They've done this for a while. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, guys. If you are interested in getting a video analysis in one of our players, one of our coaches who have all played on the AVP and FIVB, if you want any of us to look at your film, find me and DM me at Mark Burrick. We have not finished the page yet, so the booking link is not yet open or operational. It will be on our site soon, but we can already set you up with people. So let me know if you're interested in that. But if you just want to run the full gamut of our courses, which I very, very, very highly recommend because it also comes with group video analysis every week, then you can just sign up for the Complete Player program. And Tuesday, which is tomorrow, I meet with the coaches in our Complete Coach Academy where we discuss everything coaching, management, court management, how to teach technique, and all that good stuff. So I invite you again to Austin, Texas, the 9th to the 11th of August. We will be there from Friday to Sunday. We also have day passes. Me and Brandon will be there coaching it up. And then come say hi at AVP Manhattan the week after that. I think that's August 18th. And then after that, Matt will be coaching in Huntsville, Alabama, followed by Asheville, North Carolina, as well as Seeger Sandbar in New Orleans. So we've got a lot of events coming up. Take a look at betterbeach.com/camps. And if you want our 36 favorite beach volleyball drills, it's on us. I'll also send you my top 20 tips and lessons learned from my career and my current coaching career. So I'd love to share that with you. The links are below. Just go to the drill book opt-in page. And if you just want to DM me and get the link to that, I'm happy to send it to you. Guys, we touched on a lot. It was rushed. I hope you enjoyed it. Nice little 35-minute podcast here. So from me, from the Better at Beach gang, we'll see you on the sand.